Okay, for the CAD guys, I think I found a faster way. It's dirty, but it's faster. All right. So on the primary curves layer, expose the curves layer, make sure it's locked so you don't break anything, all right? The primary curves are the curves that are going to define where the curls are. And of course, I mean, if your stones are different sizes, you want to move where they are. So for example, this prong over here is the top prong. So I'm going to just rotate the stone, make it look more or less correct, and bring it around there. So you work on the same rules as usual. Move your stones so there's about a 0.2 millimeter gap between them. Bring these stones, that one has to come down a little bit so the table's level with the prong, and then the same thing here. All right, so do your layout first, and of course if your stones are different, just turn on the edit points for this primary curve and move these curves around before any extrusions. The first part of this is getting to the base shape of the ring, which is awkward because network surface doesn't work, patch doesn't work, a couple of things don't work, so we're going to get really dirty and we're going to use cage edit, and we're going to use an extrusion. All right, so this is the basic shape we want from the side. This is always the most difficult one to get. I'm going to unlock that. This is a cutter that we're going to use later on, so I'm going to hide it for now. All right, I'm going to leave it there for now. Right, we're going to use it to clean up the cut between the stones later on, but the shape that we're after is really this shape here. This is what the ring has to look like in the side view. All right, so make sure that you don't damage or break anything. Take your purple layer, which is your primary curves, don't break these, and lock them so that they're no longer going to be a problem. From your finger size, extrude the rail. You'll see why we do it in a minute. We can do that last. All right, I'm going to hide that for now. In your top view, create a circle, drag the circle out, give it 10 points or 8 points so that you can pull out a kind of a sausage shape. All right, you want to be working about a millimeter gap between the stones and a millimeter gap to the end stones, and you can then, by manipulating the two curves together, you can bring in a shape that's kind of pleasing to the eye over there. So try to keep a minimum gap over there, and then we'll do the same thing over here. I think we're pretty good over there. I'm going to pull those two in. So remember to grab both sides at the same time. Okay. Then bring them in so we get kind of the shape that we're after there. That's good. I'm happy with that. That curve pull up above your component part. I'm going to put this back in shaded view for now. Pull it up above your component part. Start working on a new layer. I've called mine extrusion main, and you can tell that I've done this once, so I'm going to just delete that for now. And we're going to start extruding. So grab this top surface, extrude it, and extrude it to anywhere in one direction, to anywhere below the bottom of the shank. We're going to be cutting this off halfway and doing a sweep, but this helps give you your idea of where the shape has to be. All right. Highlight that component, run a cage edit. Now I found that more points is better than less, but not too many. You're going to do a bounding box cage edit, press enter, give yourself in your X, I think about 8, and then 6 and 6 seem to work for Y and Z, no problem. Your degree is 3 across all of them. Press enter. All right. Grab your cage, invert your selection, and then lock. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move this cage around, but not snap onto anything while we're snapping with our edit points. So now grab the cage again, F10 to turn on the edit points for it, and we can start poking around. So I think probably the more critical one in the beginning is this front one. So let's grab all of these, bring them down. So I'm just touching the tops there. Okay. Then we're going to grab the other edit points here. Grab these guys and those guys, and these guys and those guys, and we'll start pulling them down. So what we're trying to get is that top surface of the ring over there. Let's grab these end guys over there and the end guys over there. Let's bring them down. So yes, I know this is dirty, and I know that you guys are probably going like, what the hell is he doing? Make sure that you match both of them at the same time. You'll see method to the madness in a second. Right. So we're going to kind of block out the shape that we need here. This is looking pretty good already. We're going to grab these two here and bring them down a little bit. Now you can tell why I try to use the minimum amount of points that we can. All right, so we're going to grab all of these again. I need them to be flush with the stone on the top of the ring, and then this has to come, all of these on the edges have to come out a little bit more. All right. So just push and pull until you get there. For the surface modelers, we're going to explode this later and recreate the surfaces. Alright, so the surface modeler's going that's what he's up to. Alright, so that gives us the top shape that we want. Now let's start working on the side shape. I think we can grab all of these components, bring them in a little bit, like that, until we get that kind of shape. See that shape we're looking for there? Okay, I think they probably have to go up a little bit. So yeah, it's probably about pretty good over there. So we've got the top shape, we're starting to get the inside shape traveling over there. I'd like to move these up to about the halfway point and bring them in here, and then bring these up a little bit, which are about there, and then bring them in as well, and then bring these up as well. And let's start bringing them in. Alright, so what that does for us, it starts giving us the shape of the ring, knowing that we intend to sweep the bottom half of it afterwards. Means that we can now start just get the correct shape for now towards where the finger size is going to be. So what that saves us is the very awkward side shape over here where network surface and everything else doesn't want to work. All right, so you can kind of see, to try sweep this in one movement, nearly impossible. Network surface wouldn't work, nothing would work. All right. So then in the side view, now I need that little center curve. So I'm going to press escape twice to get out of here. I'm going to unlock everything so I can grab the central core, the central ring. We're going to extrude that. Both sides. Okay, so this is just going to be a reference for us of what our side view is going to look like. All right. So we're going to highlight again the cage. We're going to invert. We're going to lock. Very handy way to do this, by the way. Otherwise, all those control points will drive you mad. All right, so we're going to F10 to turn on the control points for that again. And now we're going to start bringing in our side view shape. So you can have a look in the side view here. That's very heavy. So we're going to grab, I think, probably all of these here and start tapering. So we want to bring that taper in after this. So we grab everything from here, scale it in a little bit, and then let go of the top points with control, scale it in a little bit, let go of the top points with control and scale it in a little bit. And then just keep looking at your side view, making sure that you're getting more or less the right shape you want, which it does seem to be the case. I'll just grab these bottom ones, bring them in. Alright, so you can see that we've got a very nice fluid shape happening over here. You've got the upsweep turning into a bulge, turning into the D shape. So you've got, I think you've got pretty much everything you need here. I'm going to put that in the rendered view. So your side view, yes, I mean I hit that first time. The first time I tried this I wasn't as lucky. You're going to have to push and prod a little bit. Okay. Let's have a look in a ghosted view where our stone is. You can see that by pushing this in, our stone is now way too close to the edge over there, so we're going to have to pull out the top view a little bit. Okay. I thought that went too well. Alright, so we want to play with these top control points here, which is these ones around the stone. So these ones here and those ones there. So make sure you grab the same ones on the opposite side, okay? You could have done this in one half, I guess, if you wanted to. Let's grab the scaler and watching in this viewport to make sure we've got enough space for our stone. Let's pull that out. Okay, that seems to have fixed the problem we had there. Alright, do it in small movements because you don't want any unnatural looking movements. Pretty much looks okay to me there, and I think we've got enough material there. Alright, so you've got a nice flow around there again. So I can hit escape twice, and let's have a look in the rendered view at our side view. Alright, so that gives you a beautiful sweep down. So you've come straight, you've curved in, you've got this. This is a good shape, this is a good taper for a shank. In your side view, you've got a nice taper over there, and then the customer is saying that they want a pinch about here. So they want to go from half round to pinched back out to half round. Now this is where it starts getting a little bit tricky. If you're not sure you're going to pull this part off correctly, duplicate the components, put them on another layer in case you bugger it up, or get prepared to hit Control Z a lot of times. Right? So I'm going to go back in, I'm going to turn the control points back on that, and this is why I built a lot of X points. Alright, so we want to grab, it's roughly near this area that they're after the pinch. So the pinches, we don't want all the outside ones, we just want the inside ones. Remembering, check in your side view that you're not grabbing any of the other ones. We don't need these here, so we can use Control key, we can let go of those ones, and then we can start pinching. Alright. So you should start seeing a pinch. Looks like it. No, not really. Right, so let's grab the next two outside ones, which is these ones. So we're going to grab here. Very awkward. So be careful what you're grabbing in the background as well, okay? So same thing again over here, hold down the control key, grab these ones. I've already done it. I've already moved the curve. Alright, so let's put on wireframe here and grab just the ones we want. Shift and shift those, and we've got all the right ones. So in the side view I've grabbed these, we're good, and let go of any in the middle. So again the same thing, control key and let go of this one. We don't want to pinch that, and we don't want to pinch this. Right, then let's start bringing these in. Okay, so now I think we're getting that pinch, yes. Alright, so you're now getting that kind of pinched surface they're looking for here. There's only so much we can do given the size of the stone and the shape of the component, but yes, you now got this kind of pinch area. So you've gone from round to V, back to round at this point. Let's just double check at this point that you haven't damaged anything else along the way moving that. It's very easy to do. So if anything, I would have said this is now too pinched. No, well, I mean, if they want to pinch, that's what they got. So let's scale it out a little bit. I feel like it is a bit too pinched. Let's move it out. All right, so now you've got developable surfaces for the Boolean. Okay, say that again twice fast. Okay, I'm going to save this file out as it is here because it gives you a bit of time to be able to change this in case this specific client changes their mind again and again and again and again. You can use this developable surface to quickly get this right. All right. See it come a little bit out over here. We'll come in a little bit. So yeah, this can be a lot of fun. It can be very fun and it can be very frustrating to work with at the same time. If we look in the top view here, you can see our original curve kind of looked like that, and we've now moved away from that a little bit. So I'm going to just pull that in just a tad. There. Okay. All right. So you can unlock the whole lot. I'm going to save the file as is. All right. Save as. And I'm going to call it HalfHoop Step 1. And then I'm going to save it out a second time for you. So we can now actually Boolean this component away. You can take this component and you can do a Boolean difference with this component to give you the finger size. And then we're also going to split it in half and do a sweep for the rest of the shank. So you can do a line across the bottom, both sides. Where are we? Both sides. Split the component in half. Okay. Throw away the bottom half of it. Both ends, and now you can do a sweep. The sweep's going to be super duper easy. We can hide that curve for now. So we've got an inside curve, do we? I've locked them. So let's unlock the primary curves. Cancel, click the little unlock key. So we've got a finger rail curve, we have an outside curve, and we can get two edge curves over here. So I'm going to go dupe edge for this one, and dupe edge for this one. Press enter. So those are the two curves we're going to use for the sweep. So we're going to grab this curve, we're going to grab this curve, and go sweep 2 from this curve. Is that it? I'm going to join those curves. Hang on 1 second, they weren't joined. Okay, and then the same thing for the other side. Okay, and then grab two curves as the rails. And sweep 2 from you to you. We've got to go the other direction, change direction. Okay, so when that happens, it just means it's trying to sweep in that direction. We've got to change the direction of the curves. All right. So I'm going to cancel back out of this. All right, and you can change the direction of your curve, or you can sweep from that curve to this curve in the opposite direction. So again, just grab your two curves. Again, sweep 2, and this time sweep from this one to this one. Okay. There's an invert there. Okay, so when you get an invert there, so the same rules, you guys know the rules are there. It just means that one of these two profiles from the top is facing the opposite direction to another one. So let's have a look at the direction of that one. Use the dir command to check direction. You can see that from the finger rail, it's facing away from us. So we've just got to make sure that on the other one's doing the same thing. So on this one, again, the same thing. Take the curve, hit the direction command. You can see that it's facing the wrong way. So let's move it, and then let's also move it back to the mid. All right. Okay, and we're done. Quick look at it again. Curve, direction. Enter when done. Move you to there. Okay, so when we sweep now, you should finally, for the maybe the 5th time, it'll actually work. That curve to that curve. Okay. All right, and that's your ring done. So that's the primary, the hardest part of this ring is getting this sweep accurate and clean and looking good. All right. I'm going to save this as stage 2. HalfHoop Step 2. Save. You guys can work out the layers for yourselves afterwards. Now we're going to start working on how to Boolean intersect these things so they come up looking pretty good. All right. So we've got the original curves we're working on. I'm going to unlock that layer again. All right, so we can get rid of this construction curve. I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to make a layer called construction curves so that they're not lost for you guys for the tutorial. Construction, and I'm going to move that onto there. Change object layer and turn that one off. I'm going to put that in there too. Right. So you can see over here, you're going to probably have to play with your sweep a little bit. We should have used maintain height when we did the sweep because you've got this kind of whoopy-doopy thing going on here. Let's fix that while we're in there. Curve and curve. Make sure to tick maintain height when you do that sweep. Curve to curve. Enter, enter, and maintain height. And then you see that kind of weirdness there going on, it goes away. Alright, we're going to grab that and this, and we're going to join them, and then you have a valid surface. Now we're going to do the opposite of that. We're going to hide this lot, which is the top cutting curve. All the curves in between, so let's turn the gems off too, so we don't grab them by mistake. All these other curves inside here, including this, we're going to extrude again. Oh, we need an inside curve too, my bad. Alright, so we're going to extrude them. Okay, and then we want the difference between these two rings. So we're going to do a Boolean intersection. Now, save your file before you do this because Boolean intersection loves to crash Rhino. Okay, so the command is Boolean intersection. I know it's not one we usually work with. So grab one set of surfaces, press enter, grab your second set of surfaces, which is everything on the side. There might be multiples. Okay, and press enter. If you did everything right, hey presto, you have a ring. Okay. And this is easy to control. You've got the pinch that you needed over there. Then you simply need the cutters for your stones at this point. How you make those cutters, up to you guys. All right, so use your matrix gems, lay them out here, use the matrix cutter. But to get to this in a single surface up the top that looks smooth, this I think is an easier or a quick trick, a way to do this. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that at this point for you. I'm going to save this as step 3, and then you guys can add your stones. Cheers.